They're just ordinary people. They do extraordinary things. The teacher that sees something great in each and every child. The cancer clinic volunteer who always brings a smile. The stepdad that steps up and loves them like his own. They're just ordinary people that do extraordinary things. They don't have superpowers. They don't fly on wings. You might not even know their names, but they don't do for the fame. They come in every size and shape. Not all heroes wear capes. The girl who gives a sheltered dog a second chance at life. The rescue team that doesn't sleep keeps searching through the night. The voice coming through the crisis line makes them feel a little less alone. They're just ordinary people that do extraordinary things. They don't have superpowers. They don't fly on wings. You might not even know their names, but they don't do it for the fame. They come in every size and shape. Not all heroes wear capes. Those who wear the uniforms that make our country proud. Some still fighting demons they can't talk about. The ones left across this long, long way from home. They're just ordinary people that do extraordinary things. They don't have superpowers. They don't fly on wings. You might not even know their names, but they don't do it for the fame. They come in every size and shape. Not all heroes wear capes. They're just ordinary people. They come in every size and shape. Not all heroes wear capes. They're just ordinary people. They do extraordinary things. Teacher that sees something great.
Okay. Still learning. Hello. Still learning. Well, we're still learning how to operate outside with technology in a different light and in a different way. So there we go. Okay, good. That's a little bit better. I won't have to yell. I welcome all of you who are joining us and those who are joining us whenever and wherever they are virtually. We would appreciate you liking us on Facebook, and if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. And we thank you for adding your energy, those of you who are here and those of you out there virtually, to this community, because indeed that is what happens with shared energy. So this is Mother's Day, and since all of us have one, and a lot of us are one, not only do we honor actual mothers, but we honor those of us who have functioned in those nurturing, caring roles for young children, whether they're our own by birth or not. And so all of you, we want to honor all of you. And if you are able and you want to, please stand. If you'd rather not stand, you can just raise your hand. But do remain standing and keep it up so we can see you, so everybody can look around. So all your mothers, everybody's just going to raise their hand. Okay, well then everybody look around. Okay, good. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for serving in that role. I chose that song this morning because I thought it fit with motherhood. Not all heroes wear capes, although, fashion-wise, you may have worn a cape or two in your lifetime. I certainly have, but not for that function that we sometimes think of as heroic. So I felt it was appropriate for us today. And I know that not everyone has a mother that they feel that they can celebrate. And usually we talk about mothers on this day, praising how wonderful they are and what a contribution they are to our culture, and how they, influence us and bless us. But today I want to talk about it from a slightly different perspective. And that is how being a mother has grown us spiritually, and how our spiritual growth has influenced our mothering, particularly as we matured spiritually. And I'll actually be offering an opportunity at the close of these remarks after the meditation for those of you who would like to share a word or two about your experience as a mother, mothering. So I want to start with a couple of stories from my own experience. My granddaughter, who is 22, always has been quite brilliant and still is. She just graduated with both her master's and bachelor's in 3 years and a 4-point average. And but she was a challenge. She was quite a handful sometimes, a little willful and demanding, or at least so I thought. When she was 5, I discovered a parenting system called Love and Logic. I so wish that I had discovered when I was a younger parent, because it's built on the unity principles of cause and effect. And one establishes the rules and outlines the consequences if rules are violated. And it is not punishment that is meted out. It is the consequences of one's behavioral choices that they learn from. So it's about being clear in advance about what is important and what is not. Wearing a coat, I learned, when it is cold out, is not normally essential except for comfort. And if we trust a child to figure it out, they will. They will. Now, I realize there are some times and places where going without a coat could eventually be lethal. But this is about the sort of daily nagging that as a parent I certainly did early on. About, you got to get your coat, it's cold out, you're going to get cold, get your coat. I went that year to take care of my granddaughter during her spring break. And she was 5 years old. And we had some errands to run. We were in Cleveland, Ohio in March. I asked him if she wanted to wear her coat or a jacket when we left the house, and she said no. I so bad wanted to tell her she needed to wear a jacket, but I didn't. And I resisted. I let her make that choice. Later on, as we were walking to a store that was about a block away from the car, she shivered and said, "Ooh, that wind is cold." Now, when my daughter was little, if that had happened, I first of all would have scolded her. "I told you to wear a coat. What's wrong with you?" And then I probably would have picked her up and enfolded her in my coat because I wouldn't have wanted her to get cold, and gone on into the store with her. I didn't even think about scolding my Emma, but I did have to resist picking her up and enfolding her in my coat. Instead, this wonderful program taught me to just say very compassionately, "I know. I'm so glad I wore my coat." My desire to learn and grow as a compassionate caregiver for my grandchild and even my adulting daughter was the outgrowth of my own spiritual understanding. And it's made a huge difference in my relationship with my granddaughter and my daughter too. At a later time, I gave my daughter a compliment as she was getting ready to leave for work, and she absolutely exploded. "You always do this," she said. "You always make it about my appearance." I was stunned. She has rarely ever really criticized me and has virtually never used that tone of voice with me, even as a child. All kinds of justifications for my remark came to mind. I wanted to explain, but I stayed silent and hurt and angry about her response to my attempt to be kind. After she left, I remembered the axiom that I pretty much try to live by when it comes to maturing spiritually and emotionally, and it is this: the truth will set you free, but first of all, it is likely to piss you off. Another version of that is the truth can set you free, but not until it is done with you. When I'm angry about someone's response, where does the truth lie? She wasn't abusive to me. She simply shared her experience of her life with me. I realized then, after a while, that I still had a bit of a grudge against my own mother, who I felt so criticized by. It seemed that there was always something about the way I looked or dressed or my hair that needed to be different or better. I took it personally, and I never felt pretty or that I looked okay. I vowed I would never do that to my daughter. I wanted her to know how lovely she was and be confident about that. But then I realized I had done the same thing to her I perceived my mother had done to me, just on the other end of the spectrum. Because I had failed to face the truth of that piece of my resentment of my rearing, I had carried it into my parenting and did exactly the same toxic thing. So this is where our spiritual practice of loving oneself as well as one's neighbor prompts self-forgiveness and compassion, even if not especially for our parenting mistakes. Our regular spiritual practice supports us in doing all the wise things that we are often told to do as common sense, such as take a deep breath and count to 4. Now, some personalities have a hard time with that, including mine. But this regular spiritual practice supports us in listening to ourselves, to hearing what is coming out of our mouths, and realizing how it is perceived regardless of what we intend. To take a deep breath and consider a moment before we actually speak. One of my best friends and I, who both have adult children, call one another a couple of times a week to talk about some incident where something happened or we saw something and we didn't say a word. I must admit, even though I know that I still fall short in this area, I know that I have gotten better. I know I've made progress. Our spiritual practice supports us in apologizing when we've failed. And I'm not talking about asking for forgiveness. We don't have the right to ask for forgiveness. We apologize sincerely, expecting nothing. And if we get forgiveness, we are grateful and blessed. And we may not know it for a while. More than anything else, my spiritual practice has allowed me to forgive myself for the neglectful and very imperfect parent I was for so many years. It doesn't excuse it. It doesn't make it okay. It has allowed me to apologize without excuses, to know that I did the best I could without ever saying so to her. To say instead, I wish I could have done better. You deserved better. I have observed that she is a much better mother than I was, and I am so grateful for that. A regular spiritual practice keeps us awake. If I'm angry about a response, especially when I thought my intent was kind, to remember to ask myself, what is the truth for me to learn here? And I pray, help me. Help me to honestly face what is mine to face. Being a parent and living out our spiritual principles in that role is often instant karma. I will say this, I had 2 wonderful long conversations with my daughter, who's so busy working full-time and going to school and looking for a new job while she's doing that. And the last one was this Thursday when I called to thank her for this gorgeous bouquet that was delivered to my front door. I am so grateful for a spiritual path and practice that has challenged me to grow in every direction possible, through my mistakes and through my acknowledging my successes. And I acknowledge my mother today and know that as much as I love and like the woman I have grown up to be, she has everything to do with making me that way. I am grateful for my mother, and I am grateful to be a mother. So with that in mind, I invite you to just take a deep breath and relax. Also invite you to close your eyes. Feel this lovely breeze on your face. And let go with your body. Let yourself fully relax into this moment. And as you breathe in and exhale, relax in and exhale. Close your eyes. Invite you to move within to the core of your being, that place of oneness and peace and quiet. Quiet that does not require the absence of sound, but the awareness of the presence of divine spirit in and through and around you. Allowing that nurturing spirit of Elohim, the Hebrew word for the feminine aspect of God, to enfold you in loving embrace. Breathe into that. Whatever kind of mothering you may have had, whatever hurt you may still hold about that, whatever kind of mothering you may have done, whatever hurt you might hold about that, by focusing on this divine feminine nurturing presence within you, through you, around you, in this gentle breeze, in the beauty of this garden. Rest in that. feel that feminine, nurturing presence as the truth of your being too. Well, apparently the speaker's not working. We do apologize. That was Bobby McFerrin, 23rd Psalm for My Mother. And it's on his album Medicine Man, which is one of my favorite albums. But it's just a beautiful tribute, I think. But recognizing that, I love that. Glory be to the Holy Mother and Daughter, and to the Holy of Holies. I just love that. So, what I'd like to do now, although I guess this isn't going to be of any use, right? This is not working. Okay. All right. Is invite those of you who would like to, if you would, if anybody wants to, it's okay if you don't, maybe share a reflection from the talk or some awareness or awakening or a story or perhaps something that you would like to share with
Power on.
In terms of your own mothering experience. You can share something about your mother too. Yes, Bon, you're going to need to take your mask off and turn around.
Well, when I met Mike down here, he was a Gloucester fisherman from Gloucester, Massachusetts, the era
yeah. Thank you very much, Bunny, for sharing that. That is one of the hardest things. And you know, here in Al-Anon, RAA, you learn that early on. This is the unity principle, that the spirit within our children, the spirit within everyone, is unerringly leading and guiding them to their highest and best. Now, we may not be able to see it, and we may not think so. And it may, letting go can result in their death. I have a very good friend whose brother was an alcoholic, and she bailed him out and paid for rehab and blah, 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 And finally, one cold night, he came to her door needing a place to sleep, and he was drunk, and she said, no, you can't come in. And he went out and got his apartment and went and closed the door. Took her a while, but she realized she absolutely did the only thing that she could have done in the circumstances. She had set the table clearly. You cannot come to my house when you've been drinking. I want a relationship with you. Come anytime when you're sober. Love to visit with you. Can't come here when you're drinking. And she turned him away before too. And it was hard to do. But sometimes the healing is in the dying. Sometimes it is. Yes. What's your name?
Janet.
Hi, Janice. Janet, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jan Ice. I'm nice. But no, I could be Jan Ice, but I try not to.
You're
deal with
Janet.
the ice part of my- But I thought what was important in terms of it being Mother's Day is that when I lost my mother had Alzheimer's, and she had 4 daughters, and we helped her, we did all we could, and eventually she wound up in the nursing home. And I had seen her right before she passed, going down to Atlanta to see her with one of her sisters. And I thought I had handled the fact that I knew I was losing her soon. And yet, when she left, I got so depressed. And so my doctor was saying, well, maybe you need to see a psychologist, or blah, blah. And I went to church and spoke to, and I had joined Unity Church actually, at that time I lived in Teaneck, and we had Unity there. So I went and I talked with the minister, and she said to me, yes, you have lost your mother in the way of life on earth. However, she is still with you on a spiritual level, and she will stay with you as long as you're here and after you're here. The bottom line is you will miss her the most when there's something she would be saying to you that you should do that you're not doing right. That's when you'll miss her the most. And you know what? That turned out to be true. It was like she would say, Janice, why are you doing that? Stop! So I just wanted to share that with you, and I was so glad that I went and spoke to her, because after that I didn't need any therapy, I didn't need anything, because she was right.
Thank you for that.
And this is my daughter here with me today.
Hello. Thank you for being here and seeing your mom today.
And we both are members of Unity, but we're in North Tampa.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
we
Yeah.
decided to
Well,
come
thank you
here.
for being with us today. You're welcome. Anybody else?
Well, I guess you both all know that we were both widowed and we each had children. And, when God took my husband away, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I cried myself to sleep for a year. And then I met Charlie, and of course he lost his wife, and I'm sure he was in the same situation. But the biggest blessing God gave me were my 2 sons and him, his daughter. I loved being a mother. I just loved it. Nothing could have given me greater joy. Fortunately, he could support me, so I didn't have to work. I could outside the home. Outside the home. Oh, I worked plenty inside the home. But I just feel so blessed. And today my son came over this morning, so he was right next door. And I got a beautiful 2 dozen roses from my son up in Washington. Carrie hasn't quite came yet. So I just feel terribly, terribly blessed. And I know the Spirit works for you. If you're willing to
Well, yes, you can. And that's all right. He's got one.
Actually, it shows where we are. It's July, we are 50th wedding anniversary. And also, I told her that that's how long we've been together. So we're going to the Keys and to celebrate the 3 kids and their spouses and us. Celebrate our family with Lorraine as the mother. Because when we got married, I didn't get married, we got married. That's what we all say. When we married Mom, that's our family story. It was tough to get to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
For 2 years.
I imagine so. And you said you wanted to share?
Well, my experience has been, I thought I had 2 daughters to raise, and then I married my husband, and he had his 3 kids, so everybody's all grown up and they're out of the house, okay, I'm done. Well, that's not what happened. But, you still have to help them out, and I guess it's just an ongoing thing for the rest of your life. I'm sure I know I've made a lot of mistakes, but now I get to learn from the mistakes, and now we have the grandkids, and it's like a revolving door, having the grandkids over and watching them. And now I have a 2.5-year-old that I watch about 30 hours a week, so he's a handful. So, and I just read that book too recently that you talked about,
Love and Logic?
and it's really good. So I'm going to have to try to apply some of that to him because he's pretty, I thought my daughter Danica was strong-willed. Well, Connor is just like her, he didn't fall far from the tree. But yeah, I'm just trying to learn from my mistakes and just be loving and supportive to them. But it's just an ongoing thing for the rest of my life. And sometimes I question my life, what am I here for? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? And when you get older, you start questioning those things. And I think it's just becoming clearer now, and just helping and supporting others out and loving them.
Thank you, Ann. Yes. Anybody else? So you know that I just returned from visiting my 98-year-old mother, who is still with us, and I think probably will be for quite a while. But some of you have lost your mothers fairly recently. Some of you may feel the loss of your mother a great deal. And I was thinking about your remark, Janet, about losing your mother, through the process of Alzheimer's. So I'm going to play this song. It is a particular story by Karen Taylor Good about losing her mother who had Alzheimer's. But I hope that it will be a comfort to any of you who have lost a mother, or perhaps even somebody else this way.
This is the woman who had all the answers, the one I would lean on for comfort, for strength. She's never forgotten one grandchild's birthday. Now she can't remember my name, and it makes me so angry. I shake my fist and cry out to the heavenly one. Why would you play such a cold-hearted trick? I thought your job was to love. And the answer came down from above. She's gonna fly. Wintertime here. First you'll have to let go some things people and places, memories and faces are just way too heavy since to carry on angel's wings, to carry on
I trust that throughout the day today you are comforted and made glad by being a mother, having either a mother that you delight in or being at peace with the mother that you had, and certainly at peace with the mothering that you have done. And in that attitude of gratitude, I want again to thank each one of you for the continued gifts of financial support that you've been so faithful with. We have two tables today, one over here and one over there as usual. So you can donate there if you wish. If you're not already giving electronically regularly, you can also go to our website at unityportritchie.org and choose a method to donate or find a check, the address there so that you can send a check. Again, I thank you so very much. We are absolutely indeed blessed. I trust that you have an absolutely wonderful Mother's Day. And I'm going to ask you to join me in praying together the prayer for protection. If you'll all want to stand, you may, or you can remain sitting. You can do whatever you want here as we pray together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. Same time, same place, next Sunday morning. See you then.